Hey everybody, it's Jonas with Tezos Community. Excited to get another video out there. I wanted to cover a couple topics today. The first topic is a real personal one. I wanted to share a little history into how Tezos Community came about, why it's called Tezos Community. And then the second topic I want to talk about is the new Tezos World Tour that I'm on, and I want to tell you where I'm going to be and look forward to connecting with many of you in the coming months. So the first topic is about Tezos Community, and one of my favorite voices in the Tezos Community is some anonymous person who goes by the handle of definitely not a goat. And Goat seems to do a great job of challenging assumptions on our Riot channels and elsewhere. He or she runs a delegation service, a small one, but does a great job of communicating around that. And it's a voice that I like to listen to and make sure that I am in sync with the kinds of concepts that that person is saying. And today, earlier on Riot, definitely not a goat, and I and Arthur and others were having a real interesting discussion about leadership. One of the topics turned to the notion that I mentioned during the discussion that I had now gone full-time Tezos, and that because I was running a delegation service, I was able to generate enough revenue so that I could cover my full-time costs. And he reached back out and said, you know, the name Tezos Community is a bit of a challenge when you're running a for-profit service. And so I just wanted to explain, number one, I want to recognize that I know that. Number two, I wanted to explain why that came about. And so to explain that, we kind of have to go into the way back time machine back to 2016 when I had wrapped up. I'd sold a startup that I had started in the AI space in late 2016, and I was looking for new opportunities. I came across the white paper for Tezos. I did some research and found out about some of the investors like Tim Draper who had invested in Tezos or in DLS, and I got pretty excited about it. And so I went hunting for the community that that Tezos had, and I found a Slack channel. This is way before the fundraiser. This is before the ICO, before we had the Riot channels. This is early spring 2017. I engaged with Arthur at that point in time and told him that I was interested in building a community for all things Tezos. And his response was basically like all Arthur's responses now, which is, hey, do what you want. This is a decentralized project. And so I registered the URL Tezos.Community and started building. And if any of you were around way back then, the first thing I launched was a forums site. That's forums.tezos.community. And then I started building out a few other websites, started building social media channels. My goal at the time had nothing to do with delegation. My goal was to build an awesome marketing arm for Tezos. I figured what would happen was the foundation would want to take over Tezos Community, and they would want to hire me and let me put a team of awesome marketing folks together. That's what I do here in Silicon Valley, and we could make Tezos a world-class project from a marketing perspective. Now, as many of us know, that's not how things worked out. The foundation had its troubles through 2017, and there was never a opportunity or an offer or anything like that forthcoming to link Tezos Community up with Tezos Foundation. I tried several times, made several different proposals, both private and public. Spent lots of time in the Riot channels arguing with people about how it should work and trying to build things that would work, but nothing ever came about. So when this spring rolled around and I was trying to figure out how am I gonna make this thing work, the notion of becoming a delegation service appeared, and so I felt like it was something I wanted to give a try to. I have a lot of great technical contacts here in Silicon Valley from my prior startups, and so we pulled a couple folks together, created a real company around Tezos Community, and built out our delegation service. And as you know now, we have a great delegation service as part of Tezos Community. The great thing about that is that it generates enough revenue to pay the bills so that we can keep building stuff. And one of the things that I want to keep building is a lot of community-oriented tools and a lot of community support videos, keep the social media thing going. I don't know if Tezos Foundation's ever going to launch a real marketing project. It seems like that's not really what they're focused on. But I think Tezos Community can keep filling that gap, even though, yes, it is a for-profit organization. So that's kind of what it's a long story that I summarized on Riot earlier today, but I wanted to share it with everyone in the community so that you kind of know where the name came from, why it's a for-profit company, and kind of what our goals are going forward. So that was topic number one. Topic number two is the Tezos World Tour, and one of the things that's happening is that the Tezos Commons Foundation is funding a number of meetups around the world, and the first 12 of those have been announced. And one of the very first ones was in Los Angeles that I went to last weekend. I was one of the speakers at the LA meetup. It was great to meet all the folks in LA who are starting to get interested in the Tezos ecosystem. I'm not sure what that tattoo was all about, but I guess that's how they do things in LA. And so stop number 2 on the Tezos World Tour is the meetup that is planned in Romania. That's going to be on September the 12th, I believe. Let me check my calendar here. And that meetup is, yeah, Wednesday, September 12th. In Romania, and then on the next day, on September 13th, Thursday, there's a meetup in Bratislava, Slovakia, and so I will be attending both of those meetups. And then there's a third meetup, which is going to be the next stop on the Tezos World Tour, which is in Luxembourg on the 19th of September, and I will also be attending that one. And in between the 13th and the 19th, I'm going to be spending a couple days in Munich. And I'd love to I plan to spend a couple days in Paris and possibly some time in Switzerland. And if you are in any of those locations, I would love to connect with you and grab a beer if we're in Germany, or a glass of wine if we're in France, or anything in between, and find some way that we can connect and collaborate and talk more about how we're going to make Tezos as awesome as possible. So that's the 2 main topics I want to talk about today. I hope, because I'm now full-time Tezos, I hope to do a lot more of these videos to keep everybody up to date on what's going on with Tezos Community. And I hope to talk to you all soon somewhere around the world. There's going to be lots of more meetups coming through the fall and into 2019, and I hope Tezos Community will be there to help lead the way. So talk to you all soon, and I look forward to my next video.